Now I've got some new fake plants for this tank. Now these plants here are starting to look pretty raggedy, so I might consider taking them and put them in the sun for a day, then flip them over, leave them in the sun for a day, then hit them with a hose and they'll probably come good. Then these silk ones, they've sort of had their day now. They need to get chucked out. And these silk ones here, I think they'll last a little bit longer before they need to get chucked out. So if you have fake plants in your aquarium, just be aware that they are something that do have to be replaced every now and then. And it's actually quite good to replace ornaments in the aquarium because it keeps it interesting for you and it gives the fish a whole new environment to explore. So changing up your aquarium is a really good idea. Now with an aquarium, something that you always want to be conscious of is redundancy. You want to just be aware of what happens if something fails. So if you have multiple filters, then that's great because there's less likely they're both going to conk it at once. And then if you have aerators, then that's more security, because we really want to have the aquarium set up that if something fails, then nothing is depending on it. Because ultimately everything fails eventually. So you really want to be in a situation where if something was to fail, that everything else would make up for it. And then you get an opportunity to fix whatever it is that failed before it actually endangers the life of your fish. Otherwise, it's too risky to have an aquarium that's relying on the exact equipment that runs it with no redundancy. Now I've tested this water and it's very good. pH is nice and alkaline. Nitrite's 0. Nitrate's basically 0. KH is 12. GH is 12. So I'm very happy with the water quality in here. All the fish look great. They're not skinny, they're not fat. All very healthy and thriving. Now the key to cleaning glass on an aquarium is to do it regularly and make sure it's easy. For example, these flippers are the best thing you'll ever buy. And you get algae on the glass, and if you regularly go over it with a flipper, you'll find the algae actually comes off straight away. So I literally just drive over it like that, and then the algae's gone. Now, if you keep the flipper in the tank, for example, best to keep it like that, so the steel is out of the water, reduce the chance of it rusting over time, and then you very regularly just do this. It takes 2 seconds, 1, 2, regardless of how big your tank is, and then you don't get the really stubborn algae. Now, if you don't do this regularly and you allow the algae to just cake on, then when you go around to cleaning it, it's a real mission. Whereas if you make sure that it's easy to clean and you do it often, it literally is such an easy job. It's just a matter of zooming this algae cleaner around. Whereas if you're not doing it regularly, it'll get very stubborn and it'll be a mission. So you want to make sure that whatever you're doing with your aquarium is easy and done regularly. In your cichlids, you've got different groups of species. You've got your haplochromides, your Tarka species. Here's a pregnant female venustus with a mouthful of babies. The dolphin is a haplochromide, more of a free swimming, intermediate zone, rocks and sand type of fish. You've got your peacock style, more peaceful, love the sand, hide in the rocks. Then you've got your Mbuna style, which are rockfish, like this fella, the cobalt. They don't grow as big. They tend to be a lot more rock dwelling. They tend to be a fair bit more aggressive, and they'll tend to have colour from the very start. So a Mbuna will usually be very colourful, like this red-eyed zebra. He'll be very colourful from day one, whereas a lot of your Ritaka styles, like your Rhodesii, and they'll often have no colour as a baby. Then as they get older and they learn how to survive, then they'll tend to get all their beautiful colours, and it tends to be the male that has the colours. Whereas your Mbunas, they're both colourful. But you've got to be aware with Mbunas that they tend to be a lot more aggressive. So if you have cobalts, red-eyed zebras, and these more aggressive fish in a little fish tank, oh, there's Mangano as well, Siena habdus. This guy here, they can be very aggressive. Now, if put into a small aquarium, they can be very aggressive. But put in a big aquarium with lots of distraction and lots of other fish and lots of room, then even very aggressive fish can behave themselves. But the key is, give them plenty of room and give them plenty of them. Because the best thing to reduce aggression is increased numbers. Because the increased numbers tend to decrease focus. So instead of one fish picking on the other fish, there's a lot more distraction, and there's a lot less impact from bullies. If one's in a bad mood, he'll give one a chase, then he'll chase another one, then he'll chase another one, and nobody will really care about him. Whereas if they're crammed up in a small aquarium, then that aggression could easily result in deaths. So all of your Mbuna or rock-dwelling cichlids, you want to have plenty of them and put them in a nice big tank. Beautiful, colourful fish, but this spectacular fish, if crammed into a small aquarium, you might find to be very aggressive. So I'm just doing a water change on this aquarium. In this aquarium, we have a drain down the bottom, and then we have a refill built into the aquarium. So it's really just a matter of turning some taps down there, because getting buckets or hoses to this location is just not a reality. So no matter what aquarium you've got, if you're doing an aquarium build, building yourself a drain and a tap into the sump or the sump area is a very good idea. So while we're topping up the water, you can really see how much the fish enjoy the extra water flow. They really love playing around in the extra water flow. Now, if you're treating the aquarium with water ager after a water change or during a water change, it's really important to dose the whole aquarium every 5 centimeters. Because what you don't want to do is go doing a big water change, potentially putting a whole lot of chlorine in the water, and then not neutralizing it with water ager. In a perfect world, you would actually treat the water in a bucket before you place the water in the aquarium. But in a big tank like this, it's just not really a reality. So if you are going to fill up the aquarium itself, that's okay. Fill it up 5 centimeters, add some water ager for the whole tank, fill it up again, add some water ager for the whole tank. So I've just added some fake plants to this tank, and it completely revitalizes the tank. So something I really recommend doing on a semi-regular basis is changing some of your ornaments, and you will find the aquarium just looks so much better when you sort of revitalize it with some new fake plants or whatever it is that you want to add. Creates a whole new environment for the fish to swim around, and it's good for the fish, good for you. So the fish are all having a feed now, And fish keeping really is 50% water quality, which obviously we can test and so forth, and it's 50% food quality. So my two favourite foods by far is Danichi and Spectrum's probiotic, New Life Spectrum. So having a range of different sized pellets to try and advantage different fish as they go. So they're all having a lovely feed right now. It's really important to watch the bellies over time. Adding some big pellets would be good actually, because some of the bigger fish are a little bit skinny. So they're all busy trying to get their fill. Something like a red-tailed shark would look good in here too. Maybe a Procolotus, maybe a archer fish. Some beautiful cichlids in here. But realistically, there is enough fish in this tank because they'll all grow.